So, on to our second topic of the day. And also on the theme of the Batman. The Batman director, Matt Reeves, who's a fantastic director, we can all agree on.
Yeah, he did a smashing
isn't
job.
it?
Yeah.
He has come out and said that he will never make a Marvel movie.
How dare you?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a Greta Thunberg. How dare you?
I'm a bit miffed about that because he's such a good director, but I can understand
his allegiance.
It's not even his allegiance, his reasoning for it.
Okay.
But let's get into it.
Let's get into it. What is the reason?
So this comes to us via Joe Blow, and it says, director Matt Reeves is riding high on some fantastic reviews for the Batman and its inevitable box office dominance. Given what he has done with the popular DC character, it had to be asked if he would ever helm a film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the director made it clear that he doesn't think he ever will. During a recent profile for Variety, Reeves revealed why he will likely never cross over from DC to make an MCU movie. It has nothing to do with his dislike of the universe, the filmmakers, or Marvel boss Kevin Feige, but everything to do with a lack of creative freedom. He feels this would hinder his ability as a director. Here is what he had to say. I have such respect for Kevin Feige and also for the Marvel filmmakers, but to be honest with you, I just don't know how I would make my way through that. There has to be some level of discovery for me, where I have some freedom to find my way. If I have to come into something that's already set too firmly, then I think I would get lost. I don't think they would be happy with me either. Matt Reeves also commented on the changing industry as a whole. He believes that audiences only seem interested in seeing movies in theaters that are based on recognizable IP. The director admitted to struggling with this throughout the majority of his career. After he directed Cloverfield and the film became a big hit, Reeves turned down multiple offers to direct tentpoles, which resulted in him helming the smaller budget horror remake Let Me In as his next project in 2010. Perhaps his stance on tentpole filmmaking changed because he did go on to direct 2 Planet of the Apes movies, which were very well received, and now he has tackled the Batman to equally stellar reviews. Maybe if the tentpoles allow the creative space to do what he does best, he doesn't mind if it's based on recognizable IP. He just wants the freedom to do the work as he sees fit. Right. I'm going to go first here.
Please do.
And I know he's got some strong views on this as well, and I know you're probably going to have some strong
I got
views
a couple things.
My issue. So me and Damien had this discussion when we first saw this story, right? And Damien is on the side of, for the most part, Matt Reeves, and I can kind of see why, because Matt Reeves' whole thing is he wants the creative freedom to do whatever the hell he wants to do, and as a big director, well-known director who's good at creating things. I can see that point. I really can. But my thing would be that the other directors who have worked with Marvel, specifically James Gunn and Taika Waititi, didn't have that problem. Do you see what I'm saying? And as we know, they're very creative in what they want to do.
Yep.
And you can see in the Marvel films that they've done that they're very creative in what they do. So I feel that he's selling himself short there, and he's selling Kevin Feige and the Marvel team short there, because Kevin Feige is known to give autonomy for the most part to the directors. All he asks for is that you make sure you have this, and this.
Certain marks.
Right.
I want you to hit certain marks.
Hit certain marks in the film because we have a shared universe,
Yeah.
so it has to connect to these things.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he says. Other than that, make your movie.
Yeah.
And this is why a lot of the Marvel movies are different. You can see you can see the different hands on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So while I understand where he's coming from, and I'm not disputing what he's saying at all, I will say that he should maybe not see it too short-sighted like that. And I think in future, because he's such a good director, if he does have a conversation with Kevin Feige, I feel like that's something that will happen in the future, because he will see that actually it's not as restrictive as I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But just to interject, just quickly.
Yeah.
Think of his words. I don't think so. Him saying I don't think so. That's a negotiation.
Yeah.
That's a negotiation.
Yeah.
You know, I got to say to you, Larry, I want you to direct this. However, can you manage that? Oh, well, I just need All right, we can come to something. All right, we just All right, do it.
Yeah.
Like, and money talks.
But not just that, but Kevin Feige is not, he's not, just to put it mildly, he's not the most difficult man in Hollywood.
No.
He's very easy to work with from what I've heard. So, and for an esteemed director like Matt Reeves, it wouldn't take too much convincing to be able to do certain things within the realm of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll leave.
Let Damien.
Go on, Damien.
The reason I'd come into it, I don't think it's just the narrative of I won't do a Marvel film because I won't have creative freedom in that sense. It's also the style of films they are. When you look at the history of the films Reeves has made, when you go back to Cloverfield, you look at Let Me In, then you look at the two Planet of the Apes films, Dawn and War of the Apes. All those films are grounded in a dark, gritty reality. Let Me In is a very dark film.
Yeah.
Even the Planet of the Apes, like you said.
Very dark.
Very dark.
And then Cloverfield itself, the whole film was very dark, even though it was like a handheld movie about an alien crashing down. The other nature of these films is he tries to ground them in a reality we can recognise. He's done that with the Batman. He did that with the Apes films. He tried to put a social element on there that was all about the political narrative of it. And then the same thing with Let Me In. He really looked at the relationships of children and how the vampire aspect gets filtered through that and how dark and disturbing it is. Then when he did Cloverfield, again, it was about this could generally happen to people at a party on New Year's Eve. With the Batman, like everyone has said, he's made a film noir, and we can attest to that. He's made a film noir version of Batman where he's really made it grounded. Almost more so than what Nolan did, which I didn't think he'd be able to do that, and he has.
Right.
I don't think when you look at the pulp and the pop and the colour of what the Marvel universe is, his sensibilities will transfer over well to that. Because you're clashing with the artist and his impression. That's when you start looking to the artist side of directing. But he has a very grounded sense of directing, and he will try to bring anything that's up in the clouds and right down to the ground. How can I make this tangible? How can I make you look at this and think, right, I can relate to that.
I could be there.
Yeah, exactly.
I could be in that funeral place. I could be You're right.
It's hard when you look at, like, you know, I mean, when you mentioned James Gunn and Taika Waititi, they can bring the sensibilities because they still have this fantastical element to it.
I'll see. I'll take your point. I
don't think he can transfer it that well. I mean, I think if they gave him, you mentioned Captain America because it's probably the most grounded one they could do. If they gave him the next set of Captain America,
I think he would kill it.
I
would think he would.
But something just came to my mind. But I'm gonna let you talk.
No. While it's on your mind.
Okay. So bearing in mind what you've just said, which is very valid. Not only do I think he could do a Captain America, I think he could do a very grounded Blade and Punisher.
Punisher, yes.
Punisher,
yes. Punisher, definitely.
Blade, I think he could do well as well.
It'd be,
I really think
it depends on where they're going with it in a moment.
That's true, because they want it a bit light. They want it a bit lighter now. So maybe not Blade, but we know for definite that Punisher has to be R-rated because they're not going to. Obviously, they bought the Netflix shows and they're not going away from that. So they are going to be.
Punisher can only get darker.
Daredevil.
Even Daredevil.
You're right. The big screen.
You're right. No, you're
service.
Right. You're right. Even a TV show that he could do.
If they gave it to him, I don't know if it's for over TV, but if they gave it to him.
I think I've got a feeling Daredevil's going to stay on TV unless he joins the Avengers and then they have the big mashup.
I don't know. I think with the whole Moon Knight thing, I don't know if they're going a different direction.
Because Moon Knight's going to be in Avengers. They've already said.
Yeah.
So the TV ones don't necessarily have to have a movie on their own to be in the Avengers. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's but I mean, I agree with what you're saying about the whole tone of the movies that Reeves makes, but I think then that's where the negotiations will come in because I feel like depending on the character, the Marvel character, he could still make his own movie.
Yeah.
So as a James Gunn, as a Taika Waititi, but in his own sort of realm.
Yeah,
Do you know
so
what I
to
mean?
like Leon's point, he's leaving it as a slight opening with that that statement of like, I don't know. So that's
I think.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, well, you lot have hit most of the nails on the head. But what I would say is, for me, Matt Reeves is like the difference. He's like the Tim Burton of it. Do you know what I mean? So you get Spielberg doing E.T. and then you get Tim Burton doing E.T. Like,
that's a very different
film. Do you know what I'm saying?
Very, very
so you got one for the children and the world, and you got one for
a certain
specific
audience.
And I just think, but I think he would fit in the Marvel realm, like you said, in certain things. I think he would fit so nicely because there are darker. It can't all be, colourful and bright and let's save the day. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if he had any say in casting Robert Pattinson.
Most likely,
because Robert Pattinson is that dark kind of actor. He's very dark. As much as Twilight was like, I'm just saying, made for the ladies. He was very like closed and dark and just mysterious and all sorts going on.
And he's done other things since that kind of shows that. Do you know what I mean?
You're not going to see him next to like Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen. Do you know what I mean? It's not gonna happen.
I think Tenet was like the most kind of like slightly upbeat movie. Maybe even that was still
But
you know what? Just for kicks, I'd like to see Patterson in like a comedy. Like
I would actually,
just to see, and I think he would probably. It would still be that dark.
I think he would actually excel because
I bet it'd be funny.
He's got such good acting chops. And again, this is one of the reasons why, going back to Uncharted, why I liked Uncharted, because, and you've seen it, so you could back me up on this. I'd never seen Mark Wahlberg in that type of role before. A more fun kind of. Do you know what I mean? I've not really seen him in that sort of role before. You know? So it was refreshing to see him in that. And I'm not saying it was a brilliant film and it was a brilliant part, but it was just nice to see him do something different. And I feel like, as you just said with Patterson, I would like to actually see that. Him with Seth Rogen.
That'd be mad. You know, like them two.
Stoner comedy.
Like Stoner comedy or something like that. Can you imagine him playing Stones as well?
That'd be interesting.
It would go on a deeper level, but we go off on a tangent. But I think Kevin Feige would do well by letting Matt Reeves have a little autonomy on a couple, that Winter Soldier business and just a couple bits.
That was a dark film.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's good
He got to do a
up.
Falcon movie. I think he could take it somewhere because after the tone that the series had, I think he could take it somewhere.
I think he could even do a really good, and I know some people will get at me because he's not black, but I think he could do a good Luke Cage movie. Or TV series. Because again, that was quite dark in certain elements.
And it has got a very street grounding.
And I think he would just give it a little more grounding. Because I think although it was good, it was still just a bit too popcorn chewing gum. Some bits, and it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be. But other than that, so
I agree. So I mean, guys, listen, you've heard our take on it. What do you think? Do you think Matt Reeves is right to say that he probably won't do a Marvel movie? And do you think that he would work well with Kevin Feige? Leave us some comments down below and let us know what you think.